Hello everybody and welcome back to Oddities, and today I am so excited to be sharing a Darjeeling tea with you all. If you don't know, Darjeeling is an Indian type of tea grown using the typically Chinese small leaf cultivar. It is categorized as a black tea, but as we'll see, it plays by its own rules. The tea that we're looking at today is the Risheehat Estate First Flush SFTG FOP1 from 2026. I am super excited to try this tea. I got this from a tea vendor in Sevilla called Te. I will put the link in the description below. So this tea is an SFTG FOP1 tea. What does that mean? Well, when it comes to Darjeeling and a few other Indian tea varieties, the tea is graded using a series of letters in an acronym. This full acronym is FTG FOP, or Finest Tippy Golden Flowery Orange Pekoe. Now, if a tea has fewer of these letters, like just OP or FOP, that typically means it's a lower designation tea. It's going to have fewer buds. It's going to be a bit rougher around the edges, but it still will be full leaf. As you get to more and more letters, you get the finer and finer quality, typically with more buds. So FTG FOP is the kind of standard for high quality. Looking at the dry leaf here, we can see a very high quantity of buds in those silvery parts of the leaf, along with, in general, a much lighter color than most black teas. While most black teas are oxidized somewhere between 90 and 100%, Darjeeling teas are oxidized far below this, putting them closer to an oolong if you wanted to analyze them according to oxidization. Different flushes tend to have different amounts of oxidization too. First flushes tend to be less oxidized than second flushes and so forth. So if you prefer second flush, that might be why. Flush does not indicate quality, it only really indicates when it was picked and oftentimes how it was processed. Now we are preheating our teaware here to at around, I believe, 87 degrees. We're keeping this slightly lower than a typical black tea. And I'm using around 4 grams per 100 ml as my ratio. And now that we preheated this, we'll go ahead and add the dry leaf. Now we have the dry leaf, let's give this a smell. Ooh, okay. Very, very light, like the slightest hint of malt paired with some type of grass here. I can't quite place it. I want to say it's just like summer grass, you know, like baking in the sun kind of thing. Ooh. There's also something sweet going on here that I can't quite place. I think it's more of like a mineral sweetness, but it also might be like a juice concentrate, kind of like a syrupy granola apple juice kind of thing going on here. Oh, that's very nice. Well, let's see how it actually tastes. But first, let's give this a quick first infusion here. I'm not going to be rinsing this because with this tea, you really kind of want all of the flavor and texture, especially from the trichomes on the buds here. So we won't be giving this a rinse, but we will be giving it a nice, quick first infusion. And look at that, you can really see that lighter color going on there, even in the pot here. All right, now look at that. Look at how much lighter that is in color compared to a typical black tea. This doesn't have that bright red color at all to it. It is an entirely different world. I mean, it looks like a white oolong to maybe even like a white tea. And I don't know how well you can see on camera, but you can see some kind of trichomes swirling around in there as well. That should be giving some more body to the tea. Before I pour my own, let's give just the tiniest bit to our friend here. Perfect. And now for us. All right, so first up, the aroma. That smells very sweet. A lot of the vegetal notes that I was getting from the dry leaf are gone here. Yeah, there's just kind of like a sugarcane sweetness, I think. Like a very, like, I want to say kind of vegetal sweetness, but in that specific way that like cane juice is. All right, now let's give this a sip. Oh. So all of the flavors are very light, but not in the way that the flavors aren't very present. It's just that they are all kind of flavors that I associate on the lighter end of the spectrum. There's a very light sweetness kind of going on here, and that minerality is back. There's also some kind of fruit, I think almost like a grape skin kind of thing that I'm getting, and almost no astringency to this. There's very, very little drying sensation, very little, like puckering that you would get from the tannins from that astringency. Almost none of that, but that is incredibly lovely though. I'm really, really enjoying this. And while we're talking about Darjeeling, I did want to mention that Darjeeling is made with a tea stock that is typically found in China, not in India. It's made with Camellia sinensis, not Camellia sinensis assamica. Darjeeling grows in the more mountainous areas near the Himalayas up in North India, where the conditions are a lot better for growing this style of tea than, say, Assam, where these small leaf cultivar just does not do well. This is not the only place in India that uses this type of tea, but it is probably the most well-known one. But this really is incredibly delicious. I love this tea so much. If you want to find it, I'll put the link in the description below. Other than that, I think that is going to wrap up this video. I hope you enjoyed, I hope you learned something, and I hope you'll join me next time for more oddities.